TD Garden. There's history between these two squads as the Celtics haven't lost a postseason series to the Sixers since the Joel Embiid era began 8-1 in postseason games since the 2017-2018 season. Unfortunately for Philly, they might not have their star, as the 76ers are listing Embiid as doubtful as he's dealing with a sprained LCL in his right knee. Perk in SA back here. Perk, do you give the 76ers a shot with less than 100% Joel Embiid?
I do, Molly. I watched Joel Embiid play tremendous basketball last year, and he was injured. I believe that we don't give the Philadelphia 76ers, the others around Joel Embiid, enough credit. Do we expect more out of James Harden? Yes. But Tyrese Maxey is a baller, a flat-out baller. And I believe that he's going to have a coming-out party in this series. Not one of those coming-out parties where he averaged around 21 or 22 points. I'm talking about one of those coming-out parties where he comes out and averages 27 to 30 points. And when I look at what he's capable of doing, people have to remember that he was one of the best players coming out of high school. He was one of the best players in college. The reason he slipped into the draft had nothing to do with his game. He was supposed to be a lottery pick. And when I watched this young stud, he has continued to grow and get better. So when I look at how he's able to score the basketball and the way that he also picks up old school 94 feet, he's going to do his thing. I believe that Tobias Harris has came out of his shell. I like what Milton and Nang is bringing to the table. So when I look at the 76ers and P.J. Tucker, Rough Rider, we know how much he could cause havoc and cause confusion on the defensive end and hold those corners and knock down corner threes when it mattered the most. And by the way, the Celtics ain't just look sexy to me in that first series. So I will say, with a less than 100% Joel Embiid, I do give him a shot.
If Joel Embiid is healthy, they have a shot. If Joel Embiid is compromised, I give them zero chance. Zero. This team, these Boston Celtics, they just seem to have the Sixers number. I know that the lone victory that the Sixers had was when Embiid dropped 52 and 13 against them near the end of the regular season. They just always seem to find a way. I'm not saying it's not going to be highly competitive. I'm not saying it's not going to be nip and tuck. I'm not going to say it's not going to be close. I love the addition of DeAnthony Melton. We already got Shake Milton there. I love P.J. Tucker being there. He's a rough rider. I know what he brings defensively. I get that. That'll make things tougher for either Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, one or the other, because he can't defend both. I just look at the 76ers. James Harden, by the way, struggled in that first round series. His shoot touch wasn't, they shot like 9 for 34, I think, if I remember correctly, 9 for 34 and 2-point shots. I'm just looking at him. I'm looking at Maxey. He's better coming in the starting lineup than coming off the bench, but he's been sporadic at times. And then I think about Boston. Malcolm Brogdon's the reigning sixth man of the year. We know what he brings. Derek White, we know what he brings. Marcus Smart, he knows what he brings. It's one of those things, Perk, where it's a boxing match, where styles make fights. You can see a dude and he's slaughtering everybody, but he goes against a particular fighter that has a different kind of style, and it compromises you. If you George Foreman and you going up against Ken Norton or Joe Frazier, you're going to knock them the hell out. You going against Muhammad Ali, rope-a-dope is going to be exercise. He's going to tire you out. He's going to box you, and then he's going to take you out. You sit up there, you Mike Tyson, you taking out everybody. You go against Evander Holyfield, it's a different animal. There's kryptonite for somebody. Everyone has a source of kryptonite. And I believe with the Philadelphia 76ers, it's the Boston Celtics. Without a healthy Embiid, I don't only give them a minimal chance, the number's 0. I give them no chance to win this series without Joel Embiid.
Well, I'm going to say this, and you know how I feel about Doc Rivers. You know he's like a father figure to me, and I love him to death. But damn it, I'm calling him out right now. People have had a lot of questions about Doc. Not me, but people. I believe that this is the series for Doc Rivers to change the narrative about himself to the way that people view him. I believe that me watching Joe Mazzulla and some of the mistakes that he has made, not only in the season, but just in the last series, not calling timeouts in a timely manner, not making adjustments when need be, things to that nature. I believe that an experienced Doc Rivers should be able to rally these troops and get his guys together and come up with a game plan that if you don't have 100% Joel Embiid, that you should be in the thick of things and give your team an opportunity to win this series. I got belief in him. I believe it's going to come down to a style in that aspect, for styles make fights. So I want to see what Doc Rivers brings to the table.
Game 1, 7:30 Eastern tonight.
What you gang banging?
Still to come.
Efficiency, their experience, their perimeter shooting, the coaching. I think that whether against Sacramento, you slow the pace, you good. And you use Anthony Davis' size against the bonus. Against the Golden State Warriors, it's an entirely different animal. It don't matter whether they running or walking. At the end of the day, they got Steph. And I would say the Splash Brothers, but I'm mad at Klay Thompson today because of the way he shot yesterday. That was just ridiculous. This is a Game 7. You don't shoot 1 for 10 in the first half. That is blasphemy. This is blasphemy. He made up for it with the 4-point play. But I'm just saying, you got to make shots, okay? So I'm mad at him today. I ain't going to bring him up today. I'll celebrate him tomorrow. But they got Steph, and that's all it's going to take. Warriors win this series.
Here we go again. I tried to warn you about the Lakers' last series against the Grizzlies when I came on here. Now I got to come on here and remind you on who the hell they are right now. What you fixing your face for? You picked Memphis last series.
So what?
You picked them.
So what? Excuse me.
So what?
In the second Morant got hurt, I was like, oh well.
But he came back. But I told you anyway that they were going to beat them. That's number one. But number two, let me talk to you about what I've saw between both series when it comes down to the Lakers and Memphis and what I saw out of Sacramento and Golden State. First of all, I'm giving the edge to the Los Angeles Lakers because, again, defense wins championships. And when I look at the Lakers' defense, they're second in defensive ratings. They're number one in defensive rebounding, and they're number one in blocks. And why I bring up the blocks and the rebounds is because when you look at the Sacramento series, the key and the unsung hero in that series was Kevon Looney and the way that he dominated the boards. Well, now all of a sudden, you're going against a front line in LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, who these guys are 6'9" and above. So it's not going to be a problem for the Lakers rebounding. It's also not going to be a problem for us LeBron James knowing what he have to do against Steph Curry. And why did I say that? Because LeBron James is an extension of Darvin Ham. And what I watched last night was Mike Brown has done a hell of a job. I'm not even shooting a jab at him. But at some point, you have to say,